Hey, Steve Zonard here with Remax Experts, Zonard Associates. Happy Monday morning. Just quick update in the market. We broke through the 24,000 unit threshold. This is the first for me since I've been reporting this since 2016. So we never see this amount of inventory. Sales are trending. Very similar to what we've experienced the last couple of months now. So it's about 1,000 units per week, which is still pretty decent. It's just obviously the amount of inventory, 24,000 units on the market right now. When we do absorption rates on some of the communities, we're still seeing about 4 to 5 months of inventory currently, depending which area, because some are going to move a lot quicker than others. And obviously, when we're priced correctly, the houses do sell. It's the ones that are sitting on the market that are a higher price and they're just kind of lingering around. But anything of, let's say, niche value or priced right usually is getting sold. So that's pretty much it. Kind of looking at some of these articles this morning, I don't want to bring them up. I don't know. It's like, what do you make out of it? So a lot of them is talking. A lot of economists are saying that the interest rate is going to be down to 3.75% by 2026. Hopefully, I mean that'd be fantastic. I think that'll be normal, the new norm, when you're going to have like the old days between a 3 to a 4% mortgage, which is nice. It kind of keeps the market stable. It kind of keeps the pricing very stable. It doesn't have these big spikes, because when you introduce cheap money, this is when we get the craziness where people just overspend on properties, which brings up those prices, those inflated home values that really don't make sense. I mean, if we saw houses month over month gaining like 20-30%, which that never made sense in my eyes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We don't know, obviously. If you look at it at a micro scale, anybody you're talking to right now, it's kind of grim right now when you're talking about construction work and jobs right now, because they're not really reporting it. And remember, construction is the heart of Canada. You know what I mean? Obviously, immigration and housing development supplies all the jobs and materials, suppliers and stuff like that. So it's basically the whole economy, the whole strength of Canada. And you're having big companies that are tied up to the government, like electrical companies, drywall companies, whatever they are, any GCs, and they're laying off, half of their staff, their manpower. There's going to be an issue. Clearly, there's going to be a gap. So we don't know. High rise should be fine, because obviously a lot of these properties were sold before the bust. Some of them are unplugging because it doesn't make sense. It's not viable financially, so those are not even getting off the ground. But a lot of them are getting off the ground. So if you're in the high-rise industry, as in construction, let's just say, in labor force, you should be fine, because you'll have jobs spread out for 1-2 years. The only thing is there's going to be a gap, because clearly right now in condominium sales they don't exist, to be honest. Even like new construction, it's very hard to get anything sold as a new construction, just based on the fear. Buyers have fear right now. It's like, do I block in a product right now, then in 2 years it's going to be built? What's the rate going to be? What's the value of my house? So people are a lot, they're not secure, they're not certain as they used to be, because before you used to be able to buy a house, lock it in a new construction, and then you have 2 years to build. At the same time, your property value that you have to sell is going to gain in value. So you might have like 10 to 15%, 20% increase in value of your house you need to sell by the time you take possession of your new construction. And then, you keep doing that, and ultimately you pay your mortgage off, because you'll be doing $200,000 to $300,000 spreads every time, or intake of capital, and you just pay off your mortgage every time. You take a big bite off of it, and ultimately you're mortgage free. But those days have ended. Obviously, that's ended since, I want to say, by 2020, to be honest. Unless you bought, by 2020, unless you were able to buy in 2020 and close in 2021. Because if you bought in 2020 and you close in 22, you're facing a whole, obviously everything kind of came down with interest rates and stuff like that, and values. So it's just a fine line of what's currently happening right there. So that's why new construction is not trending. And then there's this big gap in sales right now between low-rise construction and high-rise. So what happens is going to be obviously a lag period with job and labor. So I don't know what to make out of it, because ultimately, if construction industry is not rolling in Canada, that means people are jobless. If those high-paying people are jobless, they're not pumping money back into the economy. They're not buying cars. They're not renovating houses. They're not buying houses. They're not injecting money back into the economy. That's going to be a huge proponent on the health of the Canadian economy. I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it. Obviously, it's a very micro scale, but again, we are of the people. We know the people. We know what we do and spend. So, and we know how we kind of propel economies in any market. So I think there's going to be a little bit of an issue here. I'm not sure when, but let's see what happens. Ultimately, let's be optimistic. We're taking on a big project coming shortly, 22 homes located in Nobleton. We're going to be the exclusive listing party for this builder. Average sales price about $3 million. So we can only be optimistic because it'd be nice to kind of unload all those properties within the first 3 to 6 months and then go from there. But that's it. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk soon. Ciao.